What is going on, guys? My name is 4G. So today I wanted to make a quick video going over everything you need to know when it comes to Fortnite Chapter 1 Season 2, because the OG season is going to be changing from Season 1 to Season 2 starting on January 31st, and I could not be more excited because if I'm being completely real, Season 1, even though it is technically OG, it is not really what I really think of when I think of old Fortnite. I think of the slightly more developed version of the old map, of all of the weapons that they have, stuff like that. But either way, let's just jump right into it, okay? So let's get the main thing out of the way, and that is the map changes, okay? The map changes are the biggest thing when it comes to this update by far, and the reason for it is because, of course, we have a whole bunch of brand new POIs. Now, luckily, they are not going to be doing what they did with the original Chapter 1 Season 2, where they clearly didn't actually have all these POIs ready to release, so they actually waited until mid-Season 2. Luckily, we don't have to wait until then. They are going to be releasing it day one, so the first POI, let's get this one out of the way as well. Tilted Towers is back. I'm very glad because I think Tilted Towers just needs to be on the Chapter 1 map. It is there for the vast majority of Chapter 1. It is there from Chapter 1 Season 2 all the way until Season 8 when it is then destroyed by the volcano, but for the vast majority of the time, it is on the map. Going over the other POIs, we have Shifty Shafts, Junk Junction, Snobby Shores, and of course, Haunted Hills, which I'm honestly glad for. Haunted Hills was absolutely not a great POI. Let's not get that twisted, but at the end of the day, something about it is incredibly nostalgic, especially back in Chapter 1 Season 5 during that one challenge where you had to land at Haunted Hills and get a certain amount of eliminations. And I remember I didn't do that day one as soon as the challenge was available, and it took me a very long time to get that challenge complete because nobody landed there. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm glad to see it return. Not only that, we have a bunch of smaller POIs. For an example, the motel, that is one that is going to be released. The place that I don't exactly know what it's called, but everyone called it Hogwarts. I remember that, in between Junk Junction and Pleasant Park. The soccer field is back, which is nice to see because that's also a pretty classic place. Yonder Yard should be there now, and a bunch of other ones I'm just going to show on the screen, but I can't think of off the top of my head. If there is any more, I believe there is, but if not, either way, the point is, this is the map update that we need. This is the real Chapter 1 map right here. The other stuff before, that was the unfinished version of the Chapter 1 map. We're finally getting the new stuff here. But moving on, let's move over to the weapons, okay? The weapons are also a pretty big change, just not as big as the map, but either way, we did get a bunch of new things. First of all, actually, not just weapons, items in general. The minis. We are finally going to be getting mini shields back. It is crazy to think that they were not in the game from the very beginning because we've had them in the game for that long, but mini shields are going to be returning with this update, or it should be returning with the very first update. If not, within the first couple of days or a week later or something like that, we should be getting minis back into the game. I believe they will put them in day one. I don't know. I can't see them waiting for that, but minis are incredibly important. I don't have to say much about them. Let's be real. What I really hope, though, for this particular update is they go back to how it was back in the actual OG days. Allow us to hold 10 minis again, all right? I will never forget that. We used to hold 10, and then they had to nerf us, all right? We were too powerful with 10 minis, apparently. Let us hold 10 again. I think that they could. They could very much do that. I mean, the fact that they keep the damage values of all the weapons, they added double pump to Season 1, I feel like they will probably allow us to hold 10. I mean, if they don't, it's just because they didn't go through the work to allow us to hold 10. Not everything is perfect with Season 1, of course. Not everything is 100% authentic. It's very close, but it's not 100%. But they will be adding also the damage trap, the actual damage trap where you can put it on a wall, ceiling, floor, it doesn't matter. This is the trap that replaced all the different other traps. So it's basically all the other traps combined into one. It makes a lot of sense. The original ones, they're pretty nostalgic for sure, especially because I rarely got to use them. I still barely use them even in the most recent OG because I feel like it is just incredibly rare to find, and also it's just kind of hard to use them. They make noise and stuff. They're not as powerful as the original damage traps, which I didn't like back in the day when they did 150. I liked when they nerfed them to 75 damage back in Chapter 1 Season 5. That was a good time, but people did not like that apparently. I don't think that we should have damage traps do that much damage nowadays, for being completely real, because of how people play, but you know what? We'll see, all right? We'll see. Actually, it doesn't matter. People don't really jump in boxes now. Actually, maybe that's another thing. Maybe it's not as OP as it would be, actually. It's the opposite. But anyways, moving on, we also have the Cozy Campfire, which is something I wish they would just have in the game more often in the regular Battle Royale all the time. Can we have that in Fortnite Reload as well? I swear it's not in there. It's such an awesome item. The fact that you could just hold a campfire in your item slot. I think the reason they don't have that is because of heal-offs, but people do heal-offs anyways now with medkits, so what's the difference? Just give us this nice cozy campfire. I miss it so much. It was such a great time because it didn't take up an item slot. You could have something that did white heals without taking up an item slot. Nothing else in the game, as far as I'm aware, does that, unless you count like the apples or whatever you can find on the ground, because it doesn't technically take up an item slot, but you're not holding it, so actually I don't count that. But anyways, speaking of more healing items, a lot of healing items in this, the Chug Jug was also released during this time, which I'm very much looking forward forward to. The Chug Jug is awesome. Like, come on, let's be completely real. That is an iconic item that, again, is not very loved nowadays. I don't know what's going on, man. Like, for the longest time, Slurp Juice wasn't in the game, and now for the longest time, the Chug Jug hasn't been in the game. Can we evenly cycle through these items? I don't understand why they do that, but maybe it's because there's other healing items in the game. I guess that would be why they add new ones that I don't even know about, because I barely pay attention to the new stuff when it comes to Fortnite nowadays. I'm strictly here for Fortnite Reload and Fortnite OG, if we're being completely real, even though, again, the Chapter 6 map is absolutely amazing, and I think it looks great. During this time, they also added the suppressed pistol. I'm not going to go too far into that. We all know the suppressed pistol. And the minigun. That was a big one. Oh, I wonder if the minigun's going to be annoying this time, because back in the day, there was no cooldown on the minigun. I'm sure they'll remove that. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I'm sure they will. They also added impulse grenades, which is kind of crazy.
Well, maybe,
maybe he should email me or let me know. Maybe he should email you and to get in contact with me. Ben,
oh my God, stop. No. No.
Bye, Ben! 487 damage you just took. Oh, Brett, I see this guy.
They're way better than shockwaves. Not better in the sense of actually better, but more balanced in my opinion, because I think shockwaves are absolutely obnoxious nowadays, especially in Reload, mainly in Reload actually. The fact that someone can just launch out of a box and just completely have just a nice free getaway is just so dumb in my opinion. They shouldn't break builds is my point. But anyways, we're not going to go into that right now. Also, something that people dislike, and I don't know why, I never understood this, the Cupid's crossbow. That thing was awesome, okay? I'm probably the only one on the planet that actually likes this thing, but it is absolutely amazing, and I hope they add it back this time around, because it was incredibly fun, especially that one particular game mode that they had. I think it was in Season 7. It wasn't until Season 7, but they brought it back in Season 7, and it was incredibly fun. It was just everyone with crossbows, low gravity. It was just an incredibly fun time. I remember even making a montage, if you want to go back on my channel and find that somewhere. There's a whole montage with that exact item. I mean, the montage is pretty bad. I could not edit back then, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It was fun, and I loved it, all right? And I love watching that back just because it reminds me of some fantastic times, having a lot of fun back in the day. One more thing before we talk about limited time modes is the Boogie Bomb was also added. So there's a lot of different things that were added during Season 2 that I didn't realize that they added so many different things within this time. I thought that was more towards Season 3, Season 4. That's when they started really adding items, but I guess that does make sense now that I think about it. So there's a whole bunch of different items that we will be seeing with this. But speaking about LTMs, I don't know if we'll see these. I really do hope we do. 50v50 was the first limited time mode, as far as I'm aware, and it was incredibly fun. Actually, I think technically the shooting test LTM was the first one, but you know, we're not talking about that. That was technically just, you know, developer stuff. They just wanted to get some data. And apparently they concluded that Bloom was better for the game. Still don't understand that to this day. But anyways, 50v50 was there. High explosives, sneaky silencers, which was sneaky silencers. I remember that was actually pretty unique. The entire map, as far as I'm aware, was covered in fog, and you had to run around with just suppressed pistols. It was actually pretty fun. I hope we see things like this again. I don't see why they wouldn't. Maybe they could even have just an LTM playlist throughout the entire season or something that just cycles randomly. Kind of like how Fortnite Reload has a map cycle timer. Well, in this case, you could do the same thing, but with different LTMs for the OG map. I think that would be absolutely fantastic, because none of these LTMs, even when they bring them back in Chapter 2 and newer, they just never feel the same. I mean, they barely bring them back to begin with, but they just don't feel the same, for being completely real, because they're not on that original map that those modes were thought and made for. Sniper Shootout is also another one that we will be seeing, and or well, not will be seeing, but we could be seeing, because I don't know, like I said, I don't know if the LTMs will be returning with this, but Sniper Shootout was incredibly fun. It was just snipers, basically, snipers only. It was a great time. Actually, for a period of time there was revolvers in there. I don't know why they did that. I hope that they don't do that. I hope if they do bring it back, it's not that authentic. And the last thing is they vaulted the original submachine gun, because of course we then got the suppressed SMG. Actually, was the suppressed SMG in Season 1? Is that already in there? Either way, they vaulted the main SMG. And the last thing, I'm just going to mention this here, we could possibly, hopefully be seeing the original Chapter 1 Season 2 Battle Pass. I still really do hope that they throw that in there at some point. I don't believe it'll be day one if they do it. I believe it'll probably be a week or two after the season starts. Not only would it be smart to not overlap with their new remix pass, but also the fact that if they were to bring back these old passes, it would give players a little less time before the next season, so it would kind of incentivize to buy battle stars, or well, they don't call them battle stars, you know what I mean, buy tiers basically. So we'll see what they do with that. But yeah, that is gonna wrap up this video. Personally, I'm very excited for Chapter 1 Season 2. That was the season I really feel like I started playing Fortnite a lot more during that time. Season 1 and preseason I played, but I wasn't really that into it just yet. It's when Season Season 2 started, that's when I really started grinding out this game and really, pretty much getting addicted to it. Let's be completely real. But anyways, that is going to wrap up this video. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And if you guys enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new here and you like videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.